It was a stormy night. The thunder was booming outside our windows. The flashes of lightning illuminated the dark skies. The rain was pouring like mad. I could see the faded streets around our neighborhood as it was drenched in the oncoming storm. Our dad was shopping for some groceries at Walmart, and our mom was set to work off as a security guard at the local mall. Me, on the other hand, just watched a bunch of reruns of the old Scooby-Doo episodes with my little brother Dylan, till we got bored and decided to watch Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo and Cyber Chase. He's one of my favorites. Before we got the chance of doing so, my dad came home as we see his car's headlights shining through the window curtains. He came wearing his raincoat while carrying some bags inside. We got our raincoats and helped our dad bring some groceries inside, and that's when I saw it. Inside one of the bags was a VHS tape of Scooby-Doo and the school along with DVDs of Scarface and The Godfather. You know what you're thinking, the old VHS tape cliché. Hear me out. It was the early 2000s, so it was pretty reasonable for me to bring that up. Many VHS tapes were worth 50 cents to a few dollars, though collectible tapes can be sold for $50 more or more. The Betamax tape can sell up for $20 or more. I pull out the VHS out, and our dad gave us a warm smile. He bought it just for us. He unwrapped the plastic, opened the case, and popped the tape in the VHS player. After the FBI warning and the few trailers, the movie played as normal. What was unique was the look of the animation and Shaggy himself. Instead of the green, Shaggy's shirt was a deep shade of red. His purple pants was blue, and his black shoes were brown. The movie begins with Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Scrappy-Doo on their way to Miss Grimwood's finishing school for girls, where they had been hired as gym teachers. What made it so interesting was the fact that it was storming in the movie as also, just much like the one we're having right now. Once there, however, the trio found what it is actually a school for girl ghouls. The pupils include Sibella, the daughter of Count Dracula, Elsa Frankenteen, the daughter of Frankenstein's monster, Winnie, the daughter of the Wolfman Phantasma, which we usually call for Fanty for short, the ghostly daughter of the Phantom, and Tanis, the daughter of the Mummy, all parodies and tributes to universal monsters of the 1930s or the 40s. Other residents of the school were our floating white hand, an octopus who's school butler, legs, a spider that helps with the oncoming volleyball match, Miss Grimwood, the headmistress, and her diminutive pet dragon matches. Frightened by this, Shaggy and Scooby were instantly hesitant, but they eventually agreed to stay as the gym teachers. The following morning begins with the class and the new teachers talking about bullet lessons. This gym class starts soon. To train the girls for their upcoming volleyball match against the boys of the neighboring Callaway Military Academy, the boys rigged the volleyball with a remote control. But because of an accident, squirt out ketchup, the boys lose the remote. Scooby accidentally swallows the remote and allows the girls to win instead. The fathers come out for an open on Halloween night. As they leave due to the various reasons, they warn a fearful Shaggy and Scooby not to let any harm to come to their daughters, or they'd be in big trouble. The power-hungry witch, Revolta, the self-witch style of the web, and her minion, the Grim Creeper, plan to kidnap the girls and make them her slaves. She starts by hypnotizing Shaggy into talking to the girls on a feud trip to Barren Bog. The same day, the Callaway Cadets are at the bog with the help of Revolta's spider bat. Revolta and the Grim Creeper capture the girls, and Revolta makes a potion that will turn them evil forever with the stroke of midnight. After entering Revolta's castle, by the way, Scooby's tail is the key. The gang splits up to search the place. A monster mirror scares Scooby and shows Shaggy the mirror. He makes funny face, states to Scooby that it's all just a silly reflection like they have the carnival. Now, For anyone who hasn't watched this movie, which is unlikely, the thing is identical to Shaggy from the neck down. He shares the exact same outfit as Shaggy. His head, however, is a demonic version of Shaggy's. His eyes are spirals of red and yellow. His ears are tall and pointed. His goatee covers much more of his jaw. His hair is more frizzled, and the mouth is filled with pointed teeth. As if these were to be in live-action movies, they would give any kid nightmares. Hell, it would even give the fan base shitting bricks. As we continued watching, Scooby sees that the mirror monster is coming out of the mirror and lunging for Shaggy, and well, this is where things took a dark turn. As our eyes glued themselves to the screen, the mirror monster grabs Shaggy and immediately cuts to short of an outside view of Revolta's castle as it panned out. What disturbed us most was we can hear the blood-curdling scream of Shaggy booming through the speakers. We didn't hear Scooby at all. I wonder if Scooby ran off like the coward he was, but I never knew in the back of my mind he would never leave Shaggy behind. Not in a million years, but I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what the monster did to Shaggy. Before I got an answer, our father heard screaming and saw what was happening. He immediately pulled the tape out and apologized for repeatedly scaring us. Dylan was even more terrified than I was. Me, on the other hand, I was shaken up by the whole thing, but quite alright for at least now. Later that night, Dylan and I kept repeating what happened to our heads. What happened, asking ourselves about Shaggy. I don't know, demise, if that's even the case. I don't know. So, to keep it ourselves from getting any more scarred for life, we wind up watching the Cyber Chase movie until it was time for bed. We slept in our beds, dreaming of certain dreams we don't even know exist or not. It was dark in some sort of abandoned mansion. I was scared, running through an endless hallway, dimly lit chambers, and secret passages that held secrets beyond comprehension. The whole place had a horrible look to it. Everything was black, and the stuffed animals with all gargoyles and the devilish grimaces on them felt like a whole mansion once was out to get me, even though it was another living thing in sight. Then all suddenly, I began to hear something. The sounds of Shaggy echoed through the place. He sounded desperate, followed the voice to unstoppable. Unable to stop my legs from moving forward. It was pitch black. The only light came from the single spotlight shining on the center of what looked like an ancient dungeon. As I walked through the light, Shaggy became visible, like he was still behind that damn glass. He was saying stuff like, "Help me!" and "Why didn't you save me?" and "Run away before he gets you too." And that's where I saw him, or it. The cause of the agony, the same beast trapped him within the mirror, came down stairs slowly and deliberately with the same maniacal grin. His eyes burned with smoldering rage as it etched itself into my very soul. He took one look at me and licked his lips. His breath was cold and bubbly as he came closer and closer. His tongue slowly flailed like that of a lizard from another planet. His teeth were bared like a dog, and his smile stretched to the unfathomable length so much that his skin would rip. His eyes would still lock onto mine, and he was now close enough to see every detail of his face. It was awful, beastly, and unnameable. He then looked at Shaggy, then back at me. As he spoke, his voice sounded like an animal being strangled. "Don't you feel sorry for him? He's weak, feeble, and pathetic. Of course, he's just a man. So I didn't accept anything. Beyond that, I shatter his soul and recombine it as I see fit. He will run and hide like these cowardly fools. Although he won't get very far." "Who are you?" I asked him, trembly. He just looked at me, still with that look of the malevolence. "I am the face of everything you have been afraid of. I am the voice in your head that reassures you that death approaches. I am the very ounce of hurt you've ever experienced. I am pain, and now I will put my pain into your soul as I strip the meat from the bone and leave you lying empty in the pool of your own intestines. His smile will stretch across my lips. I love it. When you suffer. I love it when I break your very spirit and leave nothing but a hollow shell. He then grabbed me. I woke up sweating and my heart beating my chest like a drum. The rest of the week was, well, there was nothing out of the ordinary and singularly at ease. When I found out what happened with the VHS tape, for some reason what occurred was someone around Chicago, Illinois, had tampered with the VHS tape of Scooby-Doo in the Ghoul School and animated his version of the movie as he cut up the tape, placed another scene in it, and put it back together. I don't know how he did it, but somehow he did it. And he sold it to the same person that put it on the shelf somewhere in my hometown. He was never caught. The police are still after this guy to this day for tampering with public property. I don't even know, to be honest. I wasn't on the news somehow, but maybe it's just a rarity for someone to do this. I have no clue as to what happened after that. But what I do know is that it had traumatized me for life. Even to this point, having difficulty to explaining the fact from fiction. I tried to enjoy my week, but I found it a bit difficult now as I'm growing up. Still don't know why some batshit asshole would go as far to scar some kid for life. But as I started before, the rest of the week has been pretty well, and even made it to high school on my first day. On the first day of high school, I went home to ask my dad about something. I don't remember what it was, but I think it is had to do something to be with going to get something from the GameStop. But my dad has his back turned, and he had his head down. He was sitting on his deck with his little office, writing something. In a little bit, he replied, "I'm busy." There was something about his voice that was off-putting. He sounded quite muffled, like he was tired or something. Dad, are you okay?" I asked. That was when he turned around, looking directly at me. That's when I saw it. His eyes were the spiral of red and yellow. "Never better," is all that he said. It's been a few weeks now, and I'm looking at my prescriptions from the pharmacy. There's one pill left. Dylan says I might have a problem, and I don't blame him for being concerned. I have to take these pills every morning. The only thing that keeps me from hallucinating, I need a refill I'm starting to hear tapping on the glass in the bathroom mirror.